things you shouldn't see as a 8-year-old. A guy getting stomped to death and drowning in his own blood because of the way he was eating a chicken wing. My brother above me, Kurt, he was shot 17 times my junior year. That had a huge impact on me because he was my best friend. They called me OC in the league, which is out of control, because hairpin trigger, just all the things I experienced growing up, drive an emotion that creates this fight or flight mentality, and I'm 100% of the time gonna fight. When I was growing up as a kid, I thought about killing myself because of the environment and situation I was in. As I got older, I also had suicidal thoughts around the rage and emotion that was pent up. The day I had to drive out was the first time my daughters had ever seen me cry. And they just put their arms around me and was like, "Dad, this is the first time we've ever seen you cry." I don't have a breaking point yet. I haven't hit it. The thing I do know is when I hit it, it's gonna be like World War III for me. It might blow up the entire world that I've created.
We've shared you with the world for so long, and now we want you back. We miss you even when you're home. Welcome to Beauty and the Beast, where we create a safe haven for Black men to engage in deep conversations and share their journeys in a judgment-free space.
In each episode, we dive into topics that matter. This is a space where your story is valued, your voice is heard, and your journey is shared with others who, like you, may feel alone in the world. Let's break the myth that Black men are beasts.
Welcome to Beauty and the Beast. Let's start the conversation. Kevin, or as we like to affectionately call you, KB.
Yeah, I don't know who Kevin is.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about the alter ego, too.
Can't use my government name.
No. So thank you for being on this podcast. You know me. You know I'm Kyle Vaughn. This is Malik Baraka, my co-host. Welcome to Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
I know, so when I get into what I know this guy as, it'll make more sense. He's a seasoned interviewee. But our podcast, we like to think is a little bit different because you've probably told your story 1,000 times, if not more. But what we like to get into is more the emotional aspect of your journey. So yeah, we want to know. So what we're saying is we want to know about your emotional journey and the impact that it has had not only on your family, but on you, right?
Yeah.
Emotionally, not just tell us your story and how many years you played in the NFL and all this other good stuff. That's great, right? But I'll get into it. And so I just alluded to it, right? I know this brother as having played in the NFL for 12 years, 13
years.
10 years.
Yeah.
10 years.
My body couldn't take more than that.
I bet. I know you as a father. As actually a matter of fact, I'm godfather to his 2 last kids. His brother's got 5. Know him as a husband, know him as an IT professional. And so where we like to start this podcast is with that as a backdrop. What along your path, and especially in the beginning, brought you to where you are today?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's a loaded one at that because I grew up from very humble beginnings, right? Like very, very poor. I don't even want to call it humble beginnings. I'm going to call it what it is poor. Where we were deciding month over month, do we keep the lights on or do we put food on the table, right? And that created the alter ego that we'll talk about a little later, but it created a hunger, almost an insatiable appetite that drives me still to this day. Both emotionally, professionally, everything I do is going to be at a high level. I'm going to win at all costs. And that comes with some pros and cons.
I'm sure.
Yeah. No, I think immediately what caught me was, I was tracking and then you said the pros and cons and then my mind just exploded as to the possibilities of what that could be. Like, I'm curious to know if there's any of that you can share, right? And it's so entwined, like that idea is so entwined with my own story, also coming from poverty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like let's call it what it is. And what I had to traverse, what I had to normalize to make it, right? So I'm curious to know, like, what are some of those things for you, man? And I'll in reciprocity, because I love reciprocity.
Yeah.
I'll share as well.
Well, I guess as Kyle knows, I'm pretty much an open book, almost to a detriment at times. So I'll tell the story holistically as it is, and not cut corners. But some of the corners people may not be able to handle, right? Because there's things you shouldn't see as a 8-year-old. For example, a guy getting stomped to death and drowning in his own blood because of the way he was eating a chicken wing.
Mm.
Right. Some of the things I saw and had to go through as a kid is what drives me today to make sure my kids never have to see that aspect of life.
And where are you from?
I'm from LA. I grew up in the inner city in Watts, gang infested. My two older brothers are gang members or Crips.
Mm.
My brother above me, Kurt, he was shot 17 times my junior year.
Yeah.
That had a huge impact on me because he was my best friend.
Yeah.
Right. Everything I did outside of sports was with him. And to see that happen right at that age, there's a lot of things that like I'm still unpacking to this day that impacts my family, my kids, my wife, the way I operate.
Yeah.
Right. I'm fresh off a red eye.
Yeah.
Because I coach snowboarding, and it's a way to bring my family into something that typically Black people don't get to experience. Yeah. But that comes at a cost, right? That comes at the price of time with my kids, the price of time being at their events, supporting them, because I'm chasing greatness, and I'll always chase greatness. But I want my kids to chase greatness, and I'm trying to teach them how to do that without having to sacrifice certain things with the family, with things that should matter most.
What's greatness look like to you?
I said at the beginning of the podcast, I'm going to win at all costs.
Yeah.
My destiny is to be great. Everything I do, as Kyle knows this, 110%, probably 200%. And I'm going to be the top of the top, right? When you think about the NFL, I'm part of 1% of 1%.
Yeah.
Right. And then the average career is 3 years. I did 10, and I chose to walk away after 10. I could have kept playing.
Right.
But if I'm going to do it, I'm going to be the best. Right. And even in corporate, I'm a CIO now. In less than 7 years, I went from no corporate experience to like, I'm running the shop. That's who I am at the core.
So right, we talked about what this podcast is about. We talk about the emotional toll, both on you and your family. So this relentless pursuit of greatness, what impact does that have on you and your family? Start with you, like emotionally.
So emotionally, I'll start with me. That I internalize a lot. On the emotional side, I don't let the emotions out. Because as Kyle mentioned, there's an alter ego. They called me OC in the league, which is out of control. Because hairpin trigger, just all the things I experienced growing up, right? Drive an emotion that creates this fight or flight mentality. And I'm 100% of the time going to fight. Yeah. And most likely I'm going to kick your ass and win that battle. Yeah. Or you're going to kill me trying, right? And so that emotional toll, it creates an internal pressure, and there's no outlet because I don't want to put it on my kids. Sure. Because I know what it's like to go through that. I don't want to put it on my wife because I know what it's like to go through that. Yeah. And so I internalize a lot, which then keeps me on edge a lot of the times. And the kids are like, well, do we talk to dad right now or not? They don't know where they fit in because they can't read the emotion. Yeah.
I mean, okay. Like, you see,
well, y'all said y'all want to get real, right?
100%.
That's exactly it. That's absolutely it. So what do you do about that?
Like, Kyle probably knows the beauty side of me, and he's starting to learn some of the beast. But there is a beast. I'm talking about a real beast.
I've caught glimpses of the beast, but I've never seen the beast fully unleashed. And I don't know if I ever want to see. Like, I got a lot of stories about this dude, but let's back up because of. What are you doing about that? What are you doing as it relates to this internalizing? I mean, because one thing I know about me and my experience, right, is it's going to find a way out.
Yeah, and you're right, and it does find a way out. And so I'll be transparent. I've started going to counseling, right? Because I don't want to put the extra burden on my family, but I still need the outlet. You know, we took a great trip last year with Kyle and some of the fellas, and it was just like, I probably was like blabbering the whole time because it was an opportunity for me to really let out some just raw, painful, loving emotion in a safe space, right? With no judgment, no, oh my God, like I'm never gonna hang out with that guy again. And so it was an opportunity to really.
You sure we didn't say that?
Probably in the back of your mind. Probably in the back of your mind, you did say that, but it was a great opportunity to like really just connect and let emotion go. And I do that with my counselor. When I walk in, it's like as soon as I hit the couch, there's no warm up. We're in it. Right, because it's been pent up for so long. I need to let it out, and that's been my outlet. Or I bury myself in chasing greatness. Right, so I'm pushing the emotion aside. It's not that it's not there. I'm trying to bury it by achieving all these things.
Hey, you know, so that brings me to the story on how we met. We met on a mountain, in Vail, Colorado. We had this mutual friend, and they blame me for why we don't have this trip still going. But we met on these trips where we were taking the kids out, and it was just the dads of the first couple of years. And so, I remember we're sitting down after a day on the mountain, and we're just sitting there, and then next thing I know, this dude ups and leaves. And I was like, what is... Now, mind you, all I know of Kevin at that point is he's a snowboard instructor. I don't know nothing else about Kevin. And shoot, I can't believe that's over 10 years ago. You believe that?
We're old.
You old, I'm not. Where's your grave? And it's not that. But anyway, that's another story. But I didn't know until years later that he had just gotten called from either the team or the agent because somebody had gotten hurt, and it was mid-season. And they wanted him on the football team. They wanted. And what team was that? Was that the Browns?
That was Jacksonville.
And I didn't find out till years later. And this dude, I have gone to his house many, many times, and I cannot tell you, I have never seen one piece of NFL memorabilia. And he spent 10 years in the league. Right? And his play, and I'm like, hey, you know, so, oh yeah, tell him I said what's up, and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, you know, such and such. Like, yeah, we played together, and we trained together. He very humble dude, very, like, doesn't even get into it. But I met him on the mountain. And then that was me. I think it was the first year I was learning how to snowboard. Right? And where I'm going with this is the pursuit of greatness, right? And so I was like, learning, and I was beat up. Like, I was just beat up. And every year I was like, I'm going to learn how to snowboard. And then along the way, he was like, hey, man, I'm a snowboard instructor. I can help you out. Right? And so along the way, he's also taking these certifications. Dude, when I tell you he was fully immersed, he watched every video there's to watch. He read every book there was to watch. And fast forward a few years later, he was like, all right, I just took my cert, blah, 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 whatever it is, to get the highest level of certification in snowboard. I was like, who does this? I was like, and you're playing in the league? Like, I don't even understand. Oh, and by the way, he's having more kids. Oh, and by the way, he's in school getting his MBA, and you got 2 of them, or maybe even 3 of them. And now dude is pursuing his PhD.
When you lock in, you lock in.
Yeah, it's... Right, it's laser focus. I believe wholeheartedly the only way you're gonna get to where you're trying to go is if you're completely focused. Right. I'm a big Laker fan, and I'm a huge fan of Kobe and the Mamba mentality, and that's exactly what it's about. Like, I wake up trying to figure out how I'm gonna be great that day, and I need to be greater than I was yesterday. Right, and that could be in my work, that could be with the fam. But again, coming back to the emotional side of it, that's an immense amount of pressure to continually keep yourself under. Right? I don't take breaks like, oh, I can just deliver a half-assed product today. That's not me. Like, it needs to be immaculate. And that pressure creates an emotion and an emotional response that I have to bottle up because there's no outlet. But more importantly, it needs to be bottled up because it's going to negatively impact someone else. And coming from such a team environment, I am a team focused person, but I'm also a believer in there's a me and team. And if me doesn't do my job, this operation doesn't run well. Right. And so the emotional side of it creates that edginess, which is needed, especially the way I grew up. But I'm in a different time now, but I still operate with that street edginess.
Yeah.
And sometimes it could be to a detriment. A perfect example of that is when I was in Houston, we were playing the Cowboys, and I was really close with the head coach, Kubiak. And whatever happened in the play, there was actually a picture of the referee pulling me off 2 guys. Mind you, I said 2 guys. And we got into a brawl, and I got both these guys literally by the throat under their helmet. And the ref pulls me off. I walk to the sideline, and Kubiak goes, "What the F are you doing? We're winning. You're going to cost us a game." I looked him in the face, grabbed him by his shirt, and I said, "I'm an effing man first. You will never challenge my manhood." That's the hairpin trigger that I'm talking about that could have jeopardized everything I built.
Sure.
Right? My income, the way I provide for my family. But that's the emotional and passion and rage that's inside.
Was that like the seminal or a seminal moment that brought some awareness, like, okay, I need to do something about this rage. I need to find a way to bridle this, to channel this, to release this in an effective way? Was like that the moment, or
You want the honest truth? No.
absolutely?
Hell no.
Yeah.
Because that's why I was where I was at.
Yeah.
So to that point, I don't want to gloss over the fact that you said you're in therapy now. So what did, to your point, what brought you to the place where you're like, you know what, I need to seek professional help?
It was the pressure, the immense amount of pressure with no outlet.
Yeah.
Right. So when I was growing up as a kid, I thought about killing myself because of the environment and situation I was in. As I got older, I also had suicidal thoughts around the rage and emotion that was pent up.
Yeah.
Right. And never having an outlet, even from being a kid. Right. My dad, rest his soul, he was like, "Real men don't cry." I think my dad told me he loved me twice in my whole life. The fact that I can count them should tell you a lot.
Right.
And it's not that he didn't love me, but that's what was needed in that time to survive.
Yeah.
And to kind of navigate the environment I was growing up in. Unfortunately, as kids, we don't have an opportunity to unpack a lot of that trauma. So when we become adults, it's magnified.
Yeah.
Right. But it's magnified sometimes in a way that could be detrimental to yourself or others and what you're trying to build and the legacy you're trying to leave.
Man, that's so challenging, bro. And what I heard in the conversation was how this rage, right, or how this energy at one point was the thing that fueled your greatness.
Yeah.
And then how it became radioactive for you, right? Like it started creating more harm potentially than good because of the pressure that it created.
Definitely internal toxic environment.
Yeah.
But the reality is football was that outlet.
Yeah.
It was controlled rage, right? So I had an opportunity to go to a private school in high school, not because I could afford it, but because I was an athlete.
Wow.
And I would walk to school every day, and the white kids were driving BMWs at 15, 16 years old. So my rage said, you know what? When I see you on the field, that's my opportunity to level the playing field.
To get that
and
ass.
actually,
Yeah, exactly. To get in that
right?
ass.
And
Yeah.
so that rage, the football field was my opportunity to let everything emotionally out.
Yeah.
But even that, oddly enough, I never got a personal foul.
Yeah.
So
And you played and you played in the old school era of football,
Yeah.
right? Unlike what they have now, where it's
You can't
basically
touch-
Well,
you can't touch
not,
them.
not this cupcake football.
It's flag
right?
football.
Yeah.
You're right.
When I was playing, it was rip your soul out.
Absolutely.
Right? And my kids, they're all in competitive sports. They're like, "Dad, you're so mean." I'm like, "Hun, she's not your friend. I know you go to school with her. She's the competition right now. When you spike the ball, spike it in her face. One of the two things is going to happen. Either she's going to get out the way, or she's gonna have a fear, and then you can do whatever you want with her.
So, so what I know about you, right, exactly. You have a bunch of daughters, 5 kids.
Yeah.
4 of them
are daughters.
4 of them are daughters.
My youngest is a boy.
Yeah.
And I say this wholeheartedly. I thank God every day that he was the 5th kid.
Yeah.
Because if he was the first kid, all of the things that my dad instilled in me and the way, more importantly, the way it was instilled, he would have gotten that.
Right.
Each girl softened me up. So if you meet my oldest daughter, she's a splitting image of me. She's never gotten anything less than an A. And I even told her, I said, why are you going to finals? You're done. You're graduating college. You're done. She's like, Dad, what the hell are you talking about? This is my legacy. I've gotten straight A's since they started giving me grades. I'm not going to let that go now. I was trying to, in a roundabout way, say, it's okay to let some of the pressure go. Yeah. It's okay to let that emotion go. And you've accomplished what you set out to do. Not her mentality.
Right.
But I would say probably in the last 5 years, we've become more touchy-feely, like hugging, I love you on the phone. Before, it was none of that. Wow. I actually didn't know how to display it.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was never displayed to me. And so each girl really softened me up. So now, and Kyle, you probably can attest, I'm hugging my son. We kiss every day. Yeah. Like I kiss him on the cheek, I love you, son. And he says it back.
Right.
Because I'm trying to break down some of those generational curses and things that I needed to survive, because that's not the world they're in right now. And that's not what they need to survive.
Yeah. It just dawned on me why we clicked. Right. So I don't know if, for the audience, NBS, National Brotherhood of Skiers or Snowboard Sports, I think they call it, or something like that. Yeah. You go on these things, and there's thousands of Black folks who show up on the mountain every year for the summit, as they call it. And as you would imagine, there's a whole lot of showboating that might happen on the mountain. Mm-hmm. And people like to profess that they're the best at something. Sure. Right. And he knows who is good. He can look at you, and in 2 seconds, he knows whether you're good or not. Right. And so along the way and in that case, a lot of people come to him and be like, hey, can you help me? Can you help me? Because, it's expensive. You would imagine this is an expensive sport. And so to get personal lessons are very expensive. But he cut people deals at one point until they started taking them for granted. And they would all take lessons. But then they would just go off and not really do what he is trying to get them to do. Whereas when we met, I was just like, hey, man, so I'm trying to get better and do this, and this. He's all right, I got you. Let's do this. And I come back a year later, I'll be like, yeah, so I did this, and then I did this, and then he's like, oh, okay, so what about this? And let's go on the mountain and do this. And it progressed from me paying him to him no, let's go on the mountain. Let's just hang out. Because what was happening, and now I get it, is I was investing in the lessons he was giving me. Right. And I was trying to get better. Whereas other people were just like, yeah, oh, that's good. I'm gonna move on. But it didn't dawn on me right now until it's just I kept investing in his knowledge, and he kept investing in me in turn. Mm-hmm. And we talked about this whole thing about be around people who make you better.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. Because there are conversations that, and this is where I'm going with this, there are conversations that he and I have had over the years, and it's funny how sometimes they would turn emotional every once in a while. And I don't mean as an emotional, emoting, but I mean having some deeper level conversations about life, right, marriage, all those things. So having said that, I want to bring back to that topic of surrounding yourself with people who make you better and that push you. What are your thoughts about that?
It's a great question, and I always surround myself with people that are better than me or that gonna enhance and uplift my life in some way. And so that is my challenge with the summit in itself. No one's there to actually get better. We all come there to snowboard and ski, right? But it's become a spectacle, right? So I've actually pulled back on how much I go. Mm-hmm. And mind you, I actually learned how to snowboard on a summit trip. Someone invited me to a summit trip in 2005. And I met some folks in Vail and that were much better than me, obviously, and we clicked. And I went back to hang out with them and get better and better and better. They're some of my best friends to this day. But my philosophy is if you're going to invest in something, once you know it's something you want to invest in, why wouldn't you give it your all? Why wouldn't you literally leave no stone unturned to be the best you can at it? And it's not about who else is good or not. It's about I know what I can achieve,
Right.
and I know what it looks like through hard work. And so that hard work, is what probably is the fundamental that drives everything. But it's the ability to be around people, learn new things, and then I always tell people, like, if you tell me something that I don't know about it, when you see me the next time, I'm gonna be a damn near semi, if not expert at it.
Yeah.
Especially if it piques my interest, right? And so that's really the way I go about life. But again, it comes at a cost. And I've been paying that cost for a long time. I was telling the story, Kyle mentioned my MBA, right? And in between your MBA, year 1 and 2, you do an internship.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple of opportunities, none here in Atlanta where my family was. And so I took an opportunity to go be a brand manager at Johnson & Johnson, which was in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
The day I had to drive out was the first time my daughters had ever seen me cry.
Wow.
This is 2015, 2014.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a 13 adult daughter, right? And they just put their arms around me and was like, Dad, this is the first time we've ever seen you cry. And I realized at that moment, I had only cried probably 3 times in their whole life,
Wow.
2 of which they hadn't seen, right? Because growing up, real men don't cry.
Sure.
So you better hold those tears back at all costs,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that's a sign of weakness.
Right.
And what I'm trying to instill in my son is like, no, being vulnerable with your emotions is a sign of strength, right? And especially as a leader, one of the critical aspects of being a leader is vulnerability.
Yes, sir.
Right? Being able to admit your shortcomings and all of these things. And so I'm trying to instill and change the narrative, but how do I keep the drive, the energy, the hunger?
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to Kyle's wife. We were talking about like how we grew up where we were hungry, right? And this stems from a coach talking about how he recruits kids. He's like, there's the kids that's hungry and that are willing to do anything to eat. And then there's the kid that just wants to eat, but needs someone to cook the food in the pantry because they don't want to cook it themselves. Which kid are you going to recruit and why? Right? So how do you keep that hunger, but in a healthier way?
Right. So real quick, so for the audience, right, we've talked about a lot, right? We've talked about the pursuit of greatness and the cost that comes with that. And we've talked about the hunger and drive. Love to hear from you guys as it relates to that on our social channels. Please talk to us about some of the experiences you're having with some of those similar things. Connect with us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Love to hear your experiences. But one of the things I do want to get to is that cost, right? You got to pay the cost to be the boss, right? And how's that manifesting in your life? And I'm not, we don't have to talk about marriage and all those things, but I'm just curious about, what toll does it take, and at what point is that toll or that cost too much?
So there's definitely a cost in the toll. I have not honestly figured out what the breaking point is because that's just the way I'm wired. And because I've pushed everything to the brink of explosion or breaking point, I don't have a breaking point yet. I haven't hit it.
Yeah.
But the thing I do know is when I hit it, it's going to be like World War III for me. And that's emotionally, that's scary. And it emotionally charges me because it might blow up the entire world that I've created.
Wow.
family included.
That's deep, bro.
Yeah.
I mean,
So yeah.
I'll let you go.
Yeah, like how does it feel to sit with that? The idea or the possibility of that?
The reality is, I'm chasing greatness. Right now, as it stands, I'm still chasing greatness. So I don't know what the outcome of the cost would be. Haven't even fathomed to think about it until right now.
Wow.
So,
But it doesn't course correct me. Right? Even with the emotion and charge I'm feeling now, it doesn't course correct me to say you've achieved all you need to achieve.
So I wanna to that point, I wanna resurface the question and ask it a slightly different way. How will you know when you've reached the greatness you're chasing?
Damn good question.
I don't think there's a limit. I think greatness is limitless.
Brother, I will tell you there is a limit.
Yeah.
You don't know what it is.
I don't know what I'm telling you. For me and my story right now, it's limitless. There isn't anything out there that if I want to do it, I'm not going to be the best at it. That's just the mentality I grew up with. And again, it's a pros and cons, right? Because it's gotten me to where I'm at. But the underlayer and the cons is that when you hit that limit, whatever it is and whenever it comes, it's not going to be good. Right. And so I hope through counseling and some of that it comes out and like we can kind of unpack what that is and like what are we really chasing besides greatness?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, people aren't going to remember how great you were. They're not going to remember that you have 8 degrees or like you've made it to the top of every industry you've ever been a part of.
Yeah. Well, what you said hit me like a ton of bricks, bro, which is, what am I really chasing besides greatness?
Yeah.
And the answer to that question, like that's, and I'm so excited and proud to hear that you are having conversations with a professional about that, because a lot of us still don't.
Yeah.
Right? So to know that you understand the power of that and what could be on the other side, like you said, this World War III that could be waiting for you, but you're not just going to just continue driving forward without saying, hey, I think I need some help.
Yeah.
That's huge, bro.
And so talking about going back to Kyle's earlier question about surrounding yourself with people that are better than you.
Yeah.
I have no problem asking for help. I have no problem picking your brain and learning from anyone. Right. And it doesn't matter who you are, because A is part of achieving greatness, right? I can't make every mistake. I can't know everything, but I can learn through others' experience. The other side of that, unfortunately, is I don't know the limit. And I've never put a limit on myself. And so it scares me at this moment, because at what cost are you willing to give up everything to be great is the question that continues to circulate through my head as we're talking through this. All right. I mentioned I was on the red eye. So again, making it to the top of the snowboard industry. I'm an examiner now. I sit on the committees. Part of that was that fight or flight response that I talked about earlier. And when I got into the industry, one of the white guys was like, well, in our industry, we use this terminology. This is how we do it. We can care less about how athletic you are. We don't need an athletic snowboarder. We need X, Y, and Z. Fight kicked in. All right. I'm going to take what you fucking have.
Yeah.
I don't run. I'm going to take what you have.
But
in taking that, it's going to come at a cost. Yeah. I'm going to have to dedicate myself. It's going to be time away from my family, my kids.
We might have to have him on again, because we don't have a lot of time with him. This is a busy brother.
Yes.
He's got to actually jump straight from this podcast and hop on a meeting with his team. So I want to start closing us out, but I hope you're willing to come back, because there's a whole lot I want to unearth in this conversation.
I think I'm willing to come back. I would love to do more than an hour, obviously.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure your audience is gonna hear and feel the emotion, and it's very raw.
Yeah.
Right.
I wasn't expecting this, to be
I
honest
know
with
you
bro.
weren't.
But I'm happy. I'm glad that you are very self-aware. You're more self-aware than I actually realized that you were. Speaking of that, let me ask you the two final questions, and then I've got something to share with you. And I'm just going to ask them back to back so we can, for the sake of time. The first question is, what are your thoughts about the fact that the world sees the black man as a beast? That's question number one. And question number two is, what in this world makes you feel loved?
So I'll tackle the first one, the beast. It used to really bother me. I said, I'm gonna lean into the beast. That's that fight or flight response. But what I've done is become methodical in my processes, the way I think. Not only to play the white man's game or the world's game, I'm gonna fucking beat you at it. Yeah. So now I start studying you. I start studying your movements. I start studying the way you talk. Right? It's funny because my name is Kevin. When I talk to people on the phone, and then when they see me in person, they're like, oh shit, you're black. Yeah, I am. I am. Right. But what I think is I embrace the beast. The reason I have multiple degrees is because someone in the world told me I couldn't do something because I didn't have this or that. Okay, I'm gonna go take it. Yeah. Right. So I have an undergrad from Northwestern. I have an MBA from Rice. I have a master's in technology from Northwestern. I'm working on my PhD at USC. I have a year left. What can you tell me I don't have that someone else in the world has? But I have something they don't have. I've been to the top pinnacle of 1%. You can never do what I did, but I can come in your world and do what you do every day, and I can do it better than you. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you that.
All right. So since we don't have a lot of time, I'm going to jump into this. Wow.
Loved.
Did you want to ask that? You're almost at time, bro.
So what? I'll keep it brief, but I'll answer it holistically. What makes me feel loved is to see my kids smile, to spend time with my family, to know that they'll never have to worry about where their next meal's coming from. Even if that means I need to die in my pursuit of greatness and chasing everything that I need to provide and put the food on the table, and not just the food, the experiences of snow sports, the experience of taking vacations, which I never took as a kid. I will literally kill myself to deliver those things and experiences for my kids.
You hear the intensity with this brother?
Yeah.
So
that's what love is for me. I feel the vibration.
Yeah. And some of that comes from my dad's upbringing. My dad was military, first off.
Yeah.
So even as a 7, 8-year-old, we were up at 5 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday. Yeah. I'm still up at 4:35 a.m. By the time 8 o'clock hits, literally my day could be over. That's how much I've accomplished. But again, I know the cost of what I want to do in terms of providing. I know that's going to shorten my lifespan. Yeah. No one should be under the amount of pressure that I put myself on. The world doesn't pressure me. Right. Corporate America is not pressure. I put the pressure on me, and I'm going to apply pressure every day. Not only to myself, but to those around me. If you're not chasing greatness, if you're not trying to be the best you can be, and I'm not saying compare yourself to others, if you're not chasing greatness and trying to be as great as you can be each day, I don't want you around. Just point blank, period.
You sound like a hard leader to work for.
Well, and it's interesting because I was sharing some stuff about work with Nicole. I am a people's person. Like, I will go through the ends of the earth to make sure you have everything you have to be successful. Yeah. Right? Even at a detriment to me losing my job, which I've had happen to in the past. Yeah. Where I've put my neck on the line for team members and the reciprocity wasn't there. Yeah. It doesn't change who I am because inside I know it's the right thing to do. I have to get smarter about how I do it.
Yeah. I want to get you out of here because I know you got some obligations you need to meet. So in closing, one of the things that we do on this podcast is we reach out to the people that love you. And we ask them to write a letter to you telling us how they experience your emotional journey. So,
we're not gonna put any names on that list then.
Yeah. So I have a letter here from your darling wife that I'm
Okay.
about to read to you. Kevin,
Oh boy.
20 plus years now. Wow, we were just babies. What an incredible journey it has been since joining you in this life. Watching you grow from a young man into a seasoned professional athlete and now a successful corporate businessman has truly been something extraordinary to witness. So many major moments have defined your path, and I've been blessed to watch it all unfold. I remember so clearly the moment you realized your football career was coming to an end. I could see your love for the game shifting, and you were quietly searching for the next chapter. Brother, just pause on the letter. When you come back, I want to talk about that whole identity thing and yeah.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, back to the letter. As your biggest fan and advocate, of course, I had my thoughts about what that next step could be. But I always chose to step back and trust you to find your own way without my influence. Coming from the background you did, I know it hasn't always been easy for you to open up, to show your emotions or share your vulnerabilities. Even though I could often see right through it, I understood that sometimes you needed to hold those feelings close. I respected that space, even when all I wanted was to ease your burdens. Your strength, your leadership, your unwavering commitments to this family, they have never gone unnoticed. You have overcome so many obstacles, and somehow you have always found a way to give us a beautiful life. It is a testament to your heart, your character, and your endless love for us. Now, as I see the gray starting to grace your beard, I know you're standing at another crossroads. I feel it. I want you to know it's okay. It's more than okay to slow down, to breathe, to soften, to let life unfold without feeling like you have to carry it all on your shoulders. We will always have everything we truly need as long as we have each other. The rest, the achievements, the accolades, the material things, they will come and go. What matters is us. You matter to us. As the queen of this family, I need my king healthy, happy, and whole. We need you, all of you. Not just the hardworking provider, but the man with the megawatt smile, the man who laughs freely, who sleeps soundly, who is fully present with us. We've shared you with the world for so long, and now we want you back. We miss you, even when you're home. And the kids, they feel it too. We know success often demands sacrifice, and you have sacrificed enough. You have reached heights that anyone would be proud of 2 and 3 times over. You have nothing left to prove, not to us, not to the world. You have perfected your formula for success. But what I want you to know is this: we are proud of you simply because you are you. Not for what you accomplish, not for what you provide. Those things are appreciated deeply, but our pride, our love was never tied to any of that. It was always you. It is you. You've always won, Kevin. Everything you ever truly needed is waiting for you right here at home. We love you endlessly, and I can't wait to grow gray with you and become the best damn grandparents this world has ever seen. Always remember, we are better together. Love always, Chris.
So that's the cost,
Yeah.
right? That's the cost that I speak of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it comes at a cost, right? Even hearing that, as emotional as I am, it tells me two things. One, that they're actually seeing the wear and tear,
Yeah.
right? I feel the wear and tear. That's probably why I went to get counseling. But um, the fear of not being able to provide for the family, the fear of I don't know where my next meal's coming from. I haven't found a balance of how to chase that and still be 100% present. And when you grow up that way for so long, there's a grit that comes with it that unfortunately I don't think my kids have because they're spoiled as shit. But I don't know how to balance the grit and the grind, right, of survival.
Yeah.
And for me, with as much as I've accomplished, my mindset is twofold. It's one of pure dominance that comes from a need of survival. So, yeah.
And with that, we're out.